The next thing I want to talk about is something called flow accumulation. So again, taking a look at our example grid from before, flow accumulation is basically looking at that network that we created from earlier, and it calculates how many cells drain into each cell. So we'll end up having a numerical value in each cell. So if we look at the very top left where it says 0, we can see that no other cells go into that cell. But if we look at the cell that's diagonal to that, to the lower right of that upper left cell, it has the value of 3. And we can see that there are 3 cells that drain into that cell value. Now if you take a look at the largest numerical value, which is a 24, you can see that all the numbers are being added up there to create that numerical value of 24. So we can see that 24 is the greatest value, meaning that it is very likely that all of those cells drain to cell 24. We can specify flow accumulation values. So basically what this means is we can determine which one of these cells can be designated as stream values. In other words, which one of these cells are actually stream and which one of these cells could be classified as runoff. So for example, we may say that any values that have a cell value of 10 or less could be designated as surface runoff, and any cell values with a value of 10 or greater could be designated as stream. So cell values 11, 15, and 24 could be actual stream, where everything else is just runoff leading into that stream. So this can be useful to actually see surface runoff, especially if you're interested in looking for surface runoff. So let's just say that you're doing a surface runoff study. So you may specify a flow accumulation value that is much smaller, for example, than the value of 10. Say, for example, 5 or 3 in this particular example. So typical settings, we usually let ArcHydro determine what the flow accumulation value should be. It usually does a pretty good job with that. It's smart enough to tell what kind of terrain data you have there in terms of resolution, and it will create a numerical value for you. The National Elevation Dataset uses a value of 5,000 cells or greater to determine stream locations. So if you're going out to the National Elevation Datasets and downloading their stream data information, that's the cell value that they're using there. So again, if you want to do surface runoff, you'll probably use a value much smaller than 5,000. And it may be more of a trial and error thing. There is really no set value because it really depends on the project site, the resolution of your data, and exactly how much surface runoff you want to actually look at. In our particular example, we're not going to be too interested at looking at surface runoff. We just want to know the location of major drainage areas.